Hi, and welcome to our show, The Cookie Patent, with me, your host, Kevin Bathman. Alright, so today I'm going to tell you a little story, and it's about these three individuals who all are claiming the rights to the patent on the chocolate chip cookie. So this is going to be a really interesting story today. We're going to have three people in, we're going to interview them, and just to let you know, it's going to be a very interactive show today. So we're going to be talking about a few things in terms of the interactivity. You're going to be able to go to Facebook, leave a comment, and that might even get shown here on our show. And also, if you take a look at the QR code that's on the screen right now, you can take a picture of that or use your mobile device to scan that in, and that'll bring you to an area where you can vote for who you think deserves the patent to the chocolate chip cookie. If you don't have a mobile device to scan in the code, you can always click Vote Now just underneath over here. Alright, so I'm just going to get right into it then and invite our first guest onto the show. And that is a Mr. Wei Wakefield, who is the current owner of the cookie process and the cookie factories that make the chocolate chip cookie. Nice to see you here today.
Nice to see you.
So Wei.
Yep.
Yes. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. Just got a little bit cold. That's it.
A little bit of a cold.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just wondering. So you are currently the owner of the chocolate chip cookie
Exactly.
patent.
Exactly.
Okay.
Not only currently, actually, I'm having that all the time. Actually, it was from my great granddad.
Oh, okay.
It was made from the scratch.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you do in general?
Well, actually, I'm the owner of my family business at the moment, which is kind of producing the chocolate chip cookies in China. When my dad kind of started everything, he just started everything with something very tiny, a little shop, a little factory, everything. And when he kind of had everything to me, our company has already become the biggest one in the country of China.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yes.
Do you think you can tell me and explain to me a little bit about how over the years your family made the chocolate chip cookie into such a success like it is today?
Well, that was actually very easy because the original recipe left by my great granddad was really, really nice. It was very, very good, with the flavor of the cookie. So my dad actually didn't really need to, kind of change anything to it. So basically, he just produced the cookie and then make it a very huge impact to the local public, actually.
And how did your grandfather, in fact, come up with this idea, with the idea for the chocolate chip cookie, the recipe, and everything like that?
Well, unfortunately, since that I have never met my great granddad, so I don't really know about that. But my dad said that actually the recipe was actually left within the letter which my great granddad left from my dad before he could be able to return home before the after the war, actually. So, well, everything was actually originally just from the scratch of my great granddad. That's what we believe.
Okay.
Yes.
So your grandfather never said where he got the cookie recipe at
That
all?
was from my great granddad.
Oh, okay. So he created it himself.
Totally.
That's I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously there's a lot of money and royalties involved with the
Totally.
cookie patent.
Yes.
So what do you plan on doing with some of the money that you'd be getting from this transaction?
Well, actually, I have to admit that we've already made a very huge fortune from this business. But for being as a businessman, of course, it's always the bigger the better with the business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I know for a fact that today you've created and produced a video for us to see, just talking about your ancestry.
That's correct.
Could you tell us a little bit about the video that I'm going to show us and, of course, the audience?
Of course. Mm-hmm. The video actually shows the strong emotional connection between my dad and my great-granddad. And it also kind of shows how important my great-granddad was to the life of my dad and how difficult it was when my dad had to know that my great-granddad died during the war. So people can be able to kind of learn something about why it's important for me and for my dad to try to make this last dream of my great-granddad continuously a success.
Okay. All right. So why don't we just cut over to Wei Wakefield's video that he's prepared for us today?
Sure.
Let's do that.
The war was over. Everyone was relieved, smiling and celebrating, drinking tea. I used to love green tea. Now it tastes nothing, like the one I always had together with him. Cinnamon bread, my all-time favorite to eat. I'm not hungry. And Maria just sits next to me. I have always dreamed of having her so close. But I don't even feel like talking to her. Oh, when I think of him. There is so much to talk about. I remember we went fishing at the lake every summer, hunting in the forest in winter. I want to be like him when I'm old, knowing all the answers to all questions, being respected by everyone. That's the one I grew up with, the one who raised me after the death of my parents when I was 2. Maria also likes him quite much. They meet each other only a few times. Actually, he knew Maria because I asked him for advice about her. I still remember what he said. If you really like the girl, go tell her. And so I did. Lately, Maria just agreed to make a step further in our relationship, but he had to leave because of the war. He said war is something terrible and people should never get involved into it. Still, he had to go, so we could be able to still have the lake for the fishing and the forest for hunting when he comes back. He said he would be back for the day I graduate from high school. He promised that in the letter he wrote to me 2 months ago. Today is that day. It's a warm and nice outside. He always liked sitting outside drinking his tea on a day like this, like we are doing now. And there he is, just sitting at the table, in his chair, at his old spot. I can feel his presence. Someone is taking a photo now. It is a good thing to do now that he's here. He just arrived in time for our big graduation day. Even he can't speak, I can still hear his words. No matter how the future turns out, I will always keep my promise to you and hope to see you happy. Thank you, Grandpa. Even in death, you are by my side.
Welcome back to the Cookie Patent with me, your host, Kevin Bathman. And what you just saw was the video that was produced by our businessman who's here being interviewed today, Way Wakefield. My bad. And basically what I want you guys to do is check out the QR code that's right here. Check that out. Scan that with your phone or mobile device. Go maybe vote for somebody you think deserves to be the patent owner. Also, don't forget to leave a Facebook comment, because at some point during the show we're going to be putting up some of the comments that people leave on Facebook. Alright, so I'm going to introduce our next guest, Mr. Romain Leclerc. Romain Leclerc, please come up.
Hi.
Hi, and welcome, Romain Leclerc.
Thank you for inviting me.
Is that your name?
Oh, Romain Leclerc.
Leclerc. So you're from France, are you?
Oui, indeed, I'm from France.
Oh, France, I see. What do you do out over in France?
I'm studying in med school. I'm intern in the med school in Paris.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
According to my notes, and of course the reason why you're on the show is your family has something to do with the creation of the chocolate chip cookie.
Indeed.
Can you tell me a little bit about what that is, what relationship that you have with?
Well, my grandfather invented it like around 1930. He made few try during the years before, and he developed a full prototype and start producing it. With just before the war.
Okay, so he created the recipe and the process of making it?
Yes.
Okay.
He just tried to improve it a lot during the years, and finally he found it, yes.
Okay, and do you think you could tell me a little bit about this particular recipe? Is it, very similar to the recipe we see now, or is it completely different?
That's the same, basically, yeah. Well, the same basis, because now a lot of cookies, like Mr. Wakefield company, adding a lot of chemical material inside it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, the recipe of it's really the basic one.
Oh, okay. Of course, that's incredibly interesting, because that's odd that Mr. Wakefield doesn't mention your family at all. Is it possible that your grandfather knew Mr. Wakefield at some point? Is that how this happened, or? Please.
Definitely, he knew him because they worked together in order to industrialize the process of making the chocolate chip cookies. And Mr. Wakefield was more an entrepreneurship than an inventor, and he submitted the patent before my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather wasn't really aware of all these things before, and Mr. Wakefield just submit the patent by
Okay.
himself.
So you're suggesting, just to clarify things, you're suggesting that Mr. Wakefield and his family or his ancestors, in fact, stole the idea from your grandfather.
I would say stole, they worked together, but what they did is not mentioning the fact that my grandfather was the inventor. They are the producer. I do not deny they're producing an industrial patent, but they're not the inventor.
Okay, and okay, so clearly, as I ask all of our interviewees today,
Sure.
there's a lot of money involved with getting this patent.
Yes.
So I'm just curious, what do you and your family plan on doing with the royalties from the chocolate chip cookie?
Well, yeah, personally, I'm not really interested in money. That's not for the acknowledgement, like for the memory. My grandfather deserved to like be remembered as the chocolate chip cookie inventor. For my family, of course, the money will help them to increase and save some jobs because of the crisis right now. The factory is not running so well. So yeah, it will create more jobs,
Okay.
and my family will be able to run their
I
factories.
see. Okay, so just referencing the movie that you created for us, can you quickly tell me a little bit about the film that you created?
Sure.
10
It's
seconds.
about my granddad,
Mhm.
and my grandfather is speaking about him. It's not really related to the story here, but it's really
Okay.
to see what my family is.
Okay, awesome. Well, why don't we play that film right
Sure,
now?
thank you.
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
I'm not afraid to die. After 80 years and 2 world wars, I have seen enough of this world. The day this picture was taken, my life changed forever. My name is Felix Leclerc, and this was the first time I was holding a steering wheel in my hands. In the beginning of the 20th century, cars were really uncommon. However, my father was a successful man and managed to buy one. Originating from a small village in northern France, he made a career as an entrepreneur and owner of his own fabric factory. It made him an important person in his region. He liked to show his success to society, since he started with nothing and worked his way to the top. My father always told me to go on, whatever people were thinking. He was really proud, and my mother was sometimes the victim. He was not a really patient man, but he was always fair. He loved my mother very much, despite what his family said about marrying a German woman. He was one of the first people believing that a partnership with other countries was going to be important, especially with Germany. I think he never saw the war coming. I remember that famous day when we all took a picture around his car. How proud he was. He made me the greatest favor he could do to me this day. He let me sit in front of the wheel. But his pride was not far away, and he stood in front of the car. He showed this picture to everyone afterwards. His sister was there on this day as well. I was a bit confused by it, suddenly visiting him after all those years. She was aware of the situation between the two countries. Few months after, he had to flee in France with her, leaving my mother in order to protect her. He joined the French army to defend his country with a heavy heart. Nothing was the same after. I never know if he saw my mother again afterwards, but I am sure he always thought about her. He always carried a photo of my mother and his sister during the war. He died in 1917, inside a trench, alone. I really love my sister. Rose had the most beautiful eyes all over the world. Big and blue eyes. Oh, these eyes. Every time I was looking at them, it was like looking at the deep blue of an ocean. At that moment, she was 24 years old and she was always smiling. She was such a happy and nice person. Unfortunately, she was suffering from mental retardation. It was really tough watching my sister hitting her head at walls and peeing around the house like a dog. Most of the times, it was really annoying for the others to be surrounded by a person like that, but for me, she was my sister, and I was always trying to be kind with her. However, the day of this picture was taken, I really got angry. She wanted to go to the lake for swimming and was screaming like a spoiled child. This is something that irritated me, and so I slapped her. After that, she was so quiet and she had that stupid fake smile on her face. I was so ashamed and I still don't understand why I did that. I couldn't even look at the camera. When I'm looking at the picture, my heart is filled with warm emotion for my family. I loved all of them. I really do. I am like this old car. I need a cover to be able to work when I'm not moving. I'm not afraid to die. I hope I will meet them soon.
All right, and welcome back to the Cookie Patent with me, Kevin Bathman. All right, so over the last, what you just saw was another video, and this one was done by Romain Leclerc, and it was just on his ancestry and a bit about his family. So I'm just going to mention again the Facebook comments. Make sure you keep commenting on Facebook, and let's cut off to the statistics so far on the voting. All right, so as you can see, there's an overwhelming amount of votes for Wei right now. However, you know, people keep voting, especially as you start seeing more and more cases and seeing what's going on. Definitely a lot of fun here today. All right, so I'm actually going to now invite Mr. Michael C. James III to the stage. Please come up. Hi, Michael. It's nice to see you today.
Actually, you know, it's not Michael, it's Mike.
Okay.
Can you please correct that?
Mike, sorry.
Thank you.
So we're here with Mike C. Sorry, your whole name?
Mike C. James III.
Okay, Mike C. James III. It's nice to meet you here today.
Nice to meet
Now, I'm a little confused about how you're connected to this whole cookie incident. Please, would you care to explain a little bit about how your ancestors are involved with the whole process here today?
Well, everything was written down in a piece of paper that was being held by my grandfather, who actually didn't really invent it, but he took it from Tom, who is the husband of my grandmother's sister. But since they don't have anyone to inherit them, I am the only one who should inherit them.
Okay, so you're saying that the idea for the cookie, the chocolate chip cookie, was written down on a piece of paper.
Yeah, absolutely.
That your grandfather stole.
Yeah, he did that.
Okay.
He did that.
So that's really interesting. I'm just wondering, where do you think he came up with this idea in the first place? Was he just...
No, well, actually, he was not the one who invented it. It was Tom, the one who invented it, but he stole it from Tom.
Sorry,
I'm not saying that my grandfather had the idea done by him, but I'm saying that he was the last one holding the idea.
Okay.
And even if we go to Tom, I am the only one who can inherit them. So.
Okay. So you think that Romain's grandfather or Wei's grandfather could have stolen the idea from your father?
Definitely. I mean, if you look at the product that's right now, I mean, it's so similar, like almost exactly the same. And when you compare it to what my grandmother told me, like what's on that paper, it's like the same thing.
And it's not possible that they came up with the idea at the same time?
No. How can you, like if it was something like a little bit more different, someone may think like they didn't steal it, but this one is like perfectly matches.
Okay. So, so this piece of paper that you're talking about, was it detailed enough with the recipe, with marketing plans, even all that stuff?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Like it has all the details. And I mean, my grandmother is old and she can still remember every detail of how the marketing part should be done, how the ingredients are done, like everything. She knows like perfectly everything, and she's not a business person, so.
Okay. And again, as I've asked all of the interviewees here today, there's a lot of money involved with getting this cookie patent. I know you're a law student at Harvard, so are you going to use the money to pay off school, or are you going to do something else with that money?
Well, no, I'm fine with the school thing. I don't need anything for that, but I mean, it's a lot of money, so I'm just going to look at a way of how to spend it and have fun. But also I have to mention that the first thing I'll do is fire away and substitute the whole crew and put my own employees.
Okay, and if you could quickly just tell me about the video that you prepared for us today.
Oh, the video. Yeah, well, I'm like really attached to the video, and like my whole life my grandmother told me about that video, so you better just see it, and awesome. I don't know what to add. Okay,
well, let's cut to that video and see what Mr. Mike prepared for us today. Okay. Mike, I said Mike. Please.
Old London, 18th of February 1930, exactly 100 years ago. It's amazing how everything fits so perfectly. This old house was once full of joy and happiness. Nothing is left there anymore. All the energy is gone. Everything is gone. Everything. Well, not exactly everything. It all changed that evening, just after the dinner, just after this photo was taken, just when everything looked perfect. One small paper, it was only a piece of paper. But there is a story behind that paper that changed the life of this family. That paper had it all, every detail of the idea that would turn the railway business to a huge success. And there was this guy that had it all, everything a man could accomplish. Tom was smart, successful engineer, good-looking and caring husband. He came from a well-known family that did a great investment on him. Tom didn't really love anything about piano and he only attended the show because his parents wanted so. But that was the best decision he made, because right on that night he met her, his soulmate. That night they fell in love and it was a couple arranged from heaven. Sarah was the best daughter of a rich family and she was known for her talent on playing the piano. She was beautiful, kind and intelligent. She also knew how to cook really well and all of it made her the perfect wife. Tom didn't spoke too much about his idea and he worked really hard on it. He didn't keep secrets from his wife and she was the only one to whom he shared the plan with. They were so happy together. Sarah's family was also satisfied with her and they praised her all the time since she was a kid. Her little sister didn't care that much about it. When their mom died, Sarah took care of Maria. Tom and Sarah spoiled her and made sure that she didn't miss a thing. Maria was very lazy and she loved staying out with her friends. Sarah and Tom were very worried for Maria's future and they arranged a date with Tom's friend Mike. They liked each other and got married that same year. Mike was also working at the railway business along with Tom, but he was just a typical worker. In the hope of securing the future of her sister, Sarah was trying to convince Tom to make Mike as his partner on the new business idea. Sarah told Maria about her intentions and Maria was overwhelmed with joy. Maria couldn't wait to tell Mike about this wonderful plan. She never thought that it was a secret not to be told. None of them was aware of Mike's past. He wasn't always a quiet, shy, and gentle person. He was raised an orphan, homeless kid trying to survive the streets. Betrayal, tricks, and fights were once part of his everyday life. It was no wonder why Mike thought of the plan that changed the entire course of this story. Inside his heart, Mike had a jealousy towards the success of Tom. He was jealous of Tom's job, family, and life. That was the reason that made Mike to implement the idea of Tom by himself and knock him out of the business. Everything happened very fast. Maria didn't know anything and she invited them on a dinner in order to tell them about the baby that she was expecting. That same dinner, they took this wonderful picture that kept the last happy moment of their life. It was the last time that they were all together. After a few days, Tom got fired and only then he did find out that Mike had become successful with his idea. This didn't only affect the life of Tom and Sarah. When Maria found out, she felt so ashamed that she couldn't face Sarah anymore. They raised her when she had nobody and took care of her when she mostly needed help. They were her parents. They were her only family. No, she couldn't bear this burden. Everything was destroyed. What is broken can never be the same again. And that's why she ran away. I wish he was not my grandfather.
All right, and welcome back to the Cookie Patent with me, your host, Kevin Bathman. All right, so what you just saw was the last video that we'll be showing you today, the one by Mike, Mr. Mike, and that video was just showing a little bit about his ancestry and a little bit about his ties to the chocolate chip cookie. So if you look right over here, you can see our QR code, which you can scan with your mobile device or your phone. Scan that up and vote for who you think best deserves the cookie patent. Also, you can check the box somewhere down there that says vote, and you can vote over there as well. And of course, don't forget to include your Facebook comments. Keep them coming because we'll be posting them on the screen every so often, and you might be famous. So basically what I've done now is I've invited all three of our guests today to the studio, and that way we can have a bit of a conversation about what everybody's been hearing about each other's stories. So actually, just to get things started, I'm going to have Mike go ahead and talk about some of the things he's been hearing and some of the stories that he's heard the other two individuals talk about. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I never met these guys before. It's the first time that I see them, and their stories were quite interesting. I mean, I learned a lot. I only knew what my grandmother told me, but now that I heard all these wonderful stories that match with my story, I mean, I'm really happy. And I want to say that I really think now that I should own the company, because you heard Wei mentioning that his great-grandfather had everything written in detail, and you also heard that he said his great-father also had everything written. So it's like it perfectly matches, you know, like it was on that paper that my grandfather had. So I think I should win.
Okay. Well, Romain, you seem to disagree with that quite a bit. Why don't you tell me a little bit about why you disagree, please?
I disagree quite a bit, as you said. Well, to be clear, you're just claiming that your grandmother is remembering this, and a video that you made, so the two of them is like your only proof that you own the chocolate chip cookie recipe. Okay, well that's a bit like, yeah, you know, not enough for convincing people. That's just, I can claim as well that my grandmother think I was owning the recipe. For you, Mr. Wakefield,
Yes.
it's a pleasure to meet you, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much.
Our grandfather did work together, but I'm a bit, you know, always skeptical, because we invented, like our family invented the cookie, and we do own the recipe as well. As you said, you're the only one owning this recipe, but we do have the copy of this recipe, well, the original recipe.
Well, I don't think so, unfortunately.
Well,
I
wait,
do think.
why don't you tell us a little bit about
Well,
about
sure,
why
of
you
course,
don't think
I
so?
surely will.
Please.
Responding to Mr. Romain, I'm sorry. Have you ever kind of heard things about a coin? You know, every coin has like two sides, and each of them has its own story. You told your story, but how do you know that actually your story was not actually happening the other way around? And also, besides that, earlier that I mentioned that actually the cookies that we are making are having a lot of chemical stuff in it. Have you ever tried it? If you have never tried it, how could you be able to say that? The recipe that we are still using for our chocolate chip cookies are exactly staying as true as possible to the original one created by my great granddad.
Right.
So I don't understand where that you kind of have your statement come from. Actually, and also to Mr. Michel.
It's
that
Mike.
was a. Oh, I'm sorry. I rather thought that it was a very feminine name, Mr. Mike. Well, I was really kind of surprised, you know, by the story told by you, because obviously with your story, you were exposing your granddad just as a thief, and that's what kind of that's kind of think about it in a kind of reasonable way or kind of logical. Let's say, is it ever reasonable for a thief
Hey,
to
stop
claim?
with that thief thing.
Okay,
Excuse
okay,
me,
so guys,
excuse
talk,
me,
take
I'm
your
not
turns,
finished.
Take your turns. Sorry,
Thank
guys.
you. Let's be
Be
civilized.
civil in here.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Thank you very
Everyone,
much.
please.
Let's be polite, shall we? And let's kind of think about it logically. Is it ever reasonable for a thief to claim something that he steals from others as his?
Well, wait.
Yes?
You first commented to Romain, so
Sure.
we're actually going to go to Romain first, and then we'll go to you, Mike. Sorry. Romain, please, can you tell us a
thank
little
you.
bit about your reaction to
Yes,
these claims?
well, it appears that we still have the first packaging for the cookies the company created, my grandfather's company created. And when we compare like the ingredients on the boxes,
yours and mine, we can see like you have like some pretty long and complicated name related to chemical compound. I can't pronounce them. I'm sure you do because you own this recipe. But yeah, that's really relevant. I own the recipe and I have the first packaging. Obviously, I don't have the first cookie because it's a bit too old. But yeah.
Well, wait. I'm sorry. How do
Yeah.
you agree to that, or how do you react to his statement?
Well,
Sorry, Mike. We'll get to you.
Thank you. Well, the thing is actually, you're only saying that you own the original recipe, or let's say that you said that your granddad actually created or invented the original recipe. But do you actually have that thing in your hand? Do you still have any kind of actual evidence to show that?
Yes.
Well, no, you don't, because the original recipe created by my great-granddad, it's still lying in somewhere in my family.
We do have it as well.
No, you don't.
Yes, we do.
Of course you don't.
Sorry, Mike, you've been sitting there, kind of feuding and boiling over there. We haven't let you talk for a little while. So, please, what do you have to say to both of these individuals?
Thank you for letting me speak a little bit. Well, I mean, I didn't expect this from these guys. I mean, you were really polite. I mean, you guys were
Thank you
awesome.
very much for that.
Mr. Thief number 1 and Thief number 2. I mean,
that was such a polite
you were
line
so
from
polite.
you.
Thank you.
Nice of you.
Boys, let one person talk at a time.
How can they still talk? I mean, it was so obvious. He's saying that his great-grandfather had everything written down in a piece of paper. He admitted that. He said that. And then he is saying the same thing. He said that, like, his great-grandfather had everything written down. He did it. He made all the whole product and stuff. But he didn't invent it. It's very obvious that he took it from my grandfather. And I don't know why they're still arguing with that.
Okay.
No,
I mean, I
exactly.
hope just that the viewers can, like,
Your
see
granddad was just a
the real
thief.
guy.
That's ridiculous.
Your
Gentlemen,
granddad didn't.
gentlemen,
I'm not a thief.
Gentlemen, calm down. I actually have a bit of surprise for you guys today. So I'm going to tell you guys a little story, and the story has to do with my ancestry, in fact. So my ancestors are in fact related to the cookie, the chocolate chip cookie
No,
patent
that's
as well.
ridiculous. No, that's impossible.
Please, let me just finish. So, my grandmother used to tell me all the time about my grandfather, who happened to go crazy and disappear in 1920. And then we never saw him again. And as we all know, the chocolate chip cookie was invented after 1920. So clearly, as per I love eating cookies, and my grandfather must have as well, he must have had something to do with the creation of the chocolate chip cookie.
Possible as you.
I made a video as well. So we're gonna just roll that video. Let's go to that. Sex Studio presents the story of Johann Bathman. This is Johann Bathman. He was born at the turn of the century in a small town in Sweden, Nordmaling. He was part of a wealthy family who ruled the business of bathtubs throughout the entire region. They created bathtubs of all shapes and sizes. Johann was taught that everyone should take a bath, at least twice a day. He loved baths. He knew everything about baths. He knew where to clean, which soap to use, and especially, he enjoyed a warm bath. Johann's family was in fact the suppliers of all the bathtubs in Nordmaling. When Johann was a child, he fooled around quite a bit, and he even stayed foolish as he grew up. So, it was no surprise that at the age of 22, he became an avid gambler. When Johann turned the age of 25 just a few years later, his parents died tragically and young. They left him the entire business and their assets. He felt sad and alone. His only comfort was found in the town's casino. Soon, he lost all of the money, the mansion, and even the business. Now, with no money or home, the town began to resent him. One day, as he sat begging on a corner, the townspeople gathered and banished him from their land. As time passed, Johann developed a longing for the familiar feeling of a warm bath. It reminded him of his previous bath-filled lifestyle. Over time, he started to observe the local cleaning houses that possessed all of his family's old bathtubs. One day, his desires overwhelmed him. He snuck in and took a bath.
Oh, what a day. I have so many clothes to wash. My husband keeps his clothes so dirty. The stains never come off. Oh, how was your day?
Fine. My stupid husband forgot to close this store this morning, and the dog ran out. He ate a chicken. Now we have to buy a new chicken.
Oh, that's too bad. I heard that the famous photographer is in town. He will come to take photos of this cleaning house.
Really? In here? I hope he'll come soon so he can take a picture of us. We'll be famous.
Oh dear, stop yabbling your mouth. What are the chances?
Good morning, I'm Philip. I'm supposed to take some pictures of this cleaning house. Do you mind if I take a few with you in it?
I told you, Hannah. Sure. You can take a photo of us. My left side is best.
Please don't worry, it will take only a second. Just act like I'm not here. I'll just set up the camera. Okay, I'm ready.
Johan!
I'm just here to help with the cleaning. Sorry. Have to run. Imported bath.
During the year 1919, there were 5 more reports of Johan sneaking into baths. Later that month, this photo was published in the Nordmaling Times newspaper as an attempt to find him. The image is now the only proof he left behind of his remarkable story. After 1920, Johan was never seen again. Alright, and welcome back again to The Cookie Patent with me, your host, Kevin Bathman. And as you just saw, that was a little video I produced, talking about my ancestry and my great-grandfather and what a wonderful guy he was. Alright, so now we can just put up the statistics and see how everybody's doing on the votes. Shall we? Alright, as you can see, that currently Wei is in the lead, and behind him, everybody else is quite a deal behind him. So, keep the votes coming in, keep again, voting, and also Facebook comments. Keep commenting on Facebook, and we're going to also display a few more on the screen before the show's over. So, the next little segment of our show, we actually sent out a field team, 2 individuals, to go around the city of Vaxjo and Linnaeus University to see how other people and students were reacting to the story of the cookie patent. So why don't we cut over to that right now?
I don't know if it's just chocolate chip cookies, but cookies in general remind me of my grandma and home.
It reminds me of my childhood. When I was hungry, the only thing that made me satisfied was chocolate cookies.
Well, I don't know. It's very sweet.
I get a sweet sense when I talk about a sense that I want to eat this cookie.
They remind me to my childhood. When I was a child and I did something good, I received a cookie as a prize.
It's something like chocolate river.
They are good as long as I don't have to make them.
I believe it was Claude. He looks kind of like a bakery man.
I can't say that they're skilled, but I think the guy named Mike.
Well, I would exclude the 3 guys I see, so I would, because I don't think they have any baking skills from what I see on the pictures, so I would choose the teapot guy.
Okay, I think it's Juan. He looks like he's hiding from stealing some cookies from the kitchen.
I don't know. Maybe the guy from the first story with the teapot, because he seemed to have a really tight connection to his family.
Go with him. Okay. Yeah. The successful car-owning guy.
Okay, I do trust to this guy in the pot.
I trust Mike because of his face. It's like
Teapot guy.
the teapot guy. I can't say anything about that.
The teapot man.
I would say Claude. I'm not sure why, but he seems responsible.
But yeah, if I can say that good feeling, not reliable, the Johan Bathman.
Well, actually, I would choose the bathman.
Johan Bachmann. I like him.
No, he was funny guy, but He had secrets, so he was trying to hide it, and he did a really good job in this case.
The Johann Bathman actually is the guy at the teapot picture.
I think that the most sexy part of Johann is the part that we don't see in the picture, below the face.
I like him. He was enjoying his profession, and even if he lost all his money and everything, he just continued swimming in other people's bathtubs.
I would say a man that takes a bath 2 times per day in other people's bathtubs is a little bit strange.
He seems a bit crazy. I mean, not too crazy, I guess. I mean, come on.
Teapot guy.
I have doubts between the teapot guy.
I don't know, the most sympathy for... I'm not sure.
I usually sympathize the dead, so I'm more sympathetic about the teapot guy. He's dead.
So let's say this guy Claude. He has a family, he's kind of good guy.
Wow, that's difficult to decide.
My guess is the owner of the pattern is Claude.
That's a tough one, man.
Yep. This guy.
This picture, one of the persons at this picture is actually the owner.
I really think that it was the teapot guy.
Do I have to choose one of those?
The railway story.
It's the only person I think that could make or steal the patent.
All right, welcome back to our show, The Cookie Patent, with me, your host, Kevin Bathman. All right, just really quickly, I'm going to actually let us go off to our commercial break from our sponsors. So let's do that. Let's send it off to the commercial break.
Don't you want me, baby? Don't you want me? Oh, don't you want me, baby? Hey, don't you want me? Oh, don't you want me, baby?
The chocolate chunks everybody wants. Chunky Chips Ahoy! They go fast.
Don't you want... Oh, sorry. Welcome back to our show here with me, Kevin Bathman, The Cookie Patent. So, really quickly, we're going to close down the polls right now and put up the statistics to see who finally won the Cookie Patent. All right. So, it looks like Mr. Wakefield, you here in the end have just won.
No doubt about that.
The final rights to the Cookie Patent. Now, how do you feel about this? Please tell us.
Well, actually, I feel very calm. I never even thought that there would be a surprise for this result, actually. Thank you for the public who have actually voted on me.
That's an insult to the memory of my
grandfather. No, that's not. How
of course it is.
No, of course it's not.
Insult.
No, it's not. It's what there's nothing to do with your granddad's memory. No, I didn't. We didn't. It belongs.
Wait. Where's Kevin, man? Where's the paper?
Where's the man?
Have you guys seen Kevin? Where? Have you guys seen Kevin?
No. Who is it, Kevin?
Kevin, anyone?
I saw him.
Where?
A minute ago, he ran away.